Enjoy the audiobook from Gentle Journeys, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more relaxing sleep stories. The night was deep and velvety, the kind of night where the stars seemed to hang just within reach, like tiny lanterns strung across the heavens. The traveler walked along a narrow path through a forest bathed in moonlight. The trees here were ancient, their bark silvered by time, and their leaves whispered secrets to one another in a language only the wind could understand. The air was cool but not cold, carrying with it the faint scent of pine and something sweet, like wildflowers blooming in the dark. Every step the traveler took seemed to sink softly into the mossy ground, as if the earth itself was cushioning their journey. As they walked, a faint hum began to rise around them. At first, it was so quiet they thought it might be their imagination. But soon, the hum grew into a gentle melody, like a lullaby sung by the forest itself. The traveler paused, tilting their head to listen. "Do you hear that?" they whispered aloud, though no one was there to answer. The melody seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere all at once. It wrapped around them like a warm blanket, easing the tension in their shoulders and slowing their heartbeat. Curious, they followed the sound, their footsteps guided by the soft glow of fireflies that flickered in and out of view. Before long, the path opened into a small clearing. At its center stood a gate unlike anything the traveler had ever seen. It was tall and arched, made of what appeared to be shimmering starlight woven into intricate patterns. The constellations etched into its surface pulsed gently, as if alive. The traveler approached cautiously, their breath catching in their throat. As they drew nearer, the melody grew louder, and they realized it was coming from the gate itself. Who are you?" the traveler asked, their voice barely above a whisper. The gate seemed to respond, its hum shifting into words that echoed softly in the clearing. "Welcome, weary one," it said, its voice like the rustle of leaves and the chime of distant bells. "You have found the entrance to the Starry Haven, a realm where time slows and worries fade. Will you step through?" The traveler hesitated, their hand hovering just above the gate surface. "What is the Starry Haven?" they asked. "A place of rest," the gate replied. "A sanctuary for those who seek peace. Here the stars sing lullabies, and the night cradles you in its arms. Will you enter?" The traveler glanced back at the path they had come from. The forest seemed darker now, the shadows deeper. But ahead, beyond the gate, the air shimmered with a soft, inviting light. "Yes," they said finally, their voice steady. "I will." As soon as the words left their lips, the gate's constellations began to swirl, forming a doorway of light. The melody swelled, wrapping around the traveler like a gentle embrace. They stepped forward, their heart pounding with a mix of excitement and calm. The moment they crossed the threshold, the world around them shifted. The air grew warmer, and the ground beneath their feet felt like walking on clouds. The gate's voice followed them, softer now, almost a whisper. "Breathe in, breathe out. Let the lullaby guide you." The traveler took a deep breath, their chest rising and falling in time with the melody. Ahead, the path stretched out, lined with glowing flowers that swayed as if dancing to the music. The stars above seemed closer now, their light casting a gentle glow over everything. As they walked, the traveler felt their worries begin to melt away, carried off by the breeze like dandelion seeds. The gate's lullaby echoed in their mind, a soothing refrain that seemed to say, "You are safe. You are loved. You are home." And so, with each step, the traveler moved deeper into the Starry Haven, their heart light and their spirit calm, ready to discover the wonders that awaited them. The traveler walked along the glowing path, their footsteps silent on the soft, starlit ground. The air here was different, thicker, sweeter, as if it carried the scent of dreams. The flowers lining the path seemed to hum in harmony with the gate's lullaby, their petals shimmering like tiny lanterns. Above, the sky was a tapestry of stars so vivid they seemed close enough to touch. As they ventured further, the path widened into a vast meadow bathed in twilight. The grass beneath their feet was silver, each blade tipped with a droplet of light that sparkled like dew. In the distance, the horizon seemed to ripple, as though the sky and earth were gently breathing together. The traveler paused, taking it all in. "This place, it's so beautiful," they murmured, their voice barely disturbing the stillness. Just then, a shadow moved at the edge of their vision. They turned, their hearts skipping a beat, but there was nothing there, or so it seemed. "Hello," they called softly, their voice carrying across the meadow. A moment later, the shadow moved again, this time closer. It was not a menacing darkness, but something fluid and graceful, like ink spilled into water. It swirled and shifted, taking shape before their eyes. From the shadow emerged a creature unlike anything the traveler had ever seen. It was tall and slender, its form made of shifting darkness that shimmered with tiny flecks of starlight. Its eyes glowed softly, like twin moons, and its voice, when it spoke, was a soothing blend of whispers and chimes. "Welcome, traveler," it said, its tone warm and melodic. "I am Nyx, the guide of Silken Shadows. I have been waiting for you." The traveler blinked, their curiosity outweighing their unease. "Waiting for me? How did you know I was coming?" Nyx tilted their head, the starlight in their form flickering like laughter. "The Starry Haven knows all who enter. It calls to those who need its peace. And you, traveler, have been called." The traveler hesitated, then asked, "What is this place, really?" "The gate said it's a realm of rest, but it feels like so much more." Nyx glided closer, their movements as smooth as a breeze. "The Starry Haven is a sanctuary, yes, but it is also a reflection of the heart. Here, the stars sing lullabies, the rivers carry memories, and the winds whisper secrets. It is a place where the weight of the world cannot reach you." The traveler felt a lump rise in their throat. "That sounds wonderful. But why me? Why now?" Nyx's glowing eyes softened. "Because you carry burdens, traveler. I can see them in the way you walk, the way you breathe. The haven offers you a chance to set them down, even if only for a little while." The traveler looked down at their hands, suddenly aware of the tension they had been carrying for so long. I don't know how to let go," they admitted quietly. Nyx reached out a hand, or what might have been a hand, made of swirling shadow and light. "That is why I am here, to guide you, to show you the way." As Nyx's hand touched the traveler's shoulder, a warmth spread through them, like sunlight breaking through a cloudy sky. They felt a strange sensation, as though a heavy cloak they hadn't realized they were wearing had been lifted away. What did you do?" the traveler asked, their voice tinged with wonder. Nyx smiled, their form shimmering with approval. "I gave you a gift, a cloak woven from quiet. It will muffle the loud thoughts that trouble you and help you hear the whispers of the haven." The traveler looked down and saw that they were now draped in a soft, silken cloak that seemed to shift between shades of twilight and midnight. It felt weightless, yet comforting, like being wrapped in a gentle embrace. "Thank you," they said, their voice thick with emotion. Nyx inclined their head. "It is my purpose to help you, traveler. But remember, the haven's magic grows stronger with kindness. The more you open your heart, the more it will reveal to you." The traveler nodded, feeling a sense of calm settle over them. "Where do we go from here?" Nyx turned and gestured toward the meadow, where a cluster of fireflies had begun to gather, their lights pulsing in time with the lullaby. The valley of drifting fireflies awaits. There, you will learn to release your worries and embrace the lightness of being. As they began to walk, the fireflies danced around them, their lights weaving patterns in the air. The traveler felt a sense of anticipation, but also a deep, abiding peace. Nyx, they said after a moment, will you stay with me? Through all of this. Nyx's form shimmered, their voice gentle. For as long as you need me, traveler, I am your guide, your companion, and your friend. Together, we will explore the wonders of the Starry Haven. The traveler smiled, their heart feeling lighter than it had in years. As they walked side by side with Nyx, the meadow seemed to stretch endlessly before them, filled with the promise of discovery and the gentle hum of a lullaby. And so, with the guide of Silken Shadows at their side, the traveler moved deeper into the Starry Haven, ready to uncover its secrets and, perhaps, find a piece of themselves they had long forgotten. The meadow stretched on, its silver grass swaying gently as if in time to a melody only it could hear. The traveler walked beside Nyx, their silken cloak shimmering with every step. The air was filled with the soft hum of the Starry Haven's lullaby, a tune that seemed to weave itself into the very fabric of the realm. Above, the stars pulsed gently, their light casting a serene glow over everything. As they walked, the traveler noticed that the fireflies they had seen earlier were growing in number. At first, there were only a handful, their tiny lights flickering like distant candles. But soon, the air was alive with them, their golden glow illuminating the path ahead. Nyx, the traveler said, their voice hushed with awe, what are they? Nyx turned their luminous eyes toward the fireflies, their form rippling like a shadow in the breeze. These are the drifting fireflies, guardians of the valley. They carry dreams and memories within their light, and they help those who enter the haven to let go of their burdens. The traveler reached out a hand, and one of the fireflies landed gently on their palm. Its light was warm but not hot, and as it pulsed, the traveler felt a strange sensation, a fleeting image of a childhood memory long forgotten. It's showing me something, they whispered, their voice trembling. Nyx nodded. The fireflies are drawn to the stories we carry within us. They help us remember what brings us joy and release what weighs us down. The firefly lifted off their hand, joining the others as they swirled and danced in the air. The traveler watched, mesmerized, as the fireflies began to form shapes. A tree, a house, a face they hadn't seen in years. How do they know? The traveler asked, their voice barely above a whisper. The Starry Haven knows all who enter, Nyx replied. It sees the threads of your life, the moments that have shaped you. The fireflies are its messengers, helping you to see what you may have forgotten or buried. The traveler felt a lump rise in their throat. What if I don't want to remember? What if some memories are too painful? Nyx's form shimmered, their voice softening. The haven does not seek to cause you pain, traveler. It only wishes to help you heal. Sometimes, the memories we fear the most are the ones that hold the key to our peace. The traveler nodded, though their hearts still felt heavy. They continued to walk, the fireflies guiding them deeper into the valley. The air grew warmer, filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the faint sound of laughter, as if the valley itself was alive with joy. As they reached the heart of the valley, the traveler gasped. Before them was a vast expanse of glowing flowers, their petals shimmering in every color imaginable. The fireflies danced above them, their lights blending with the flowers to create a sea of radiance. In the center of the valley stood a tree unlike any the traveler had ever seen. Its trunk was silver, its branches reaching high into the sky, each one adorned with glowing orbs that pulsed gently, like tiny hearts. "What is that?" the traveler asked, their voice filled with wonder. "That is the dream tree," Nix explained. "It is the heart of the valley of drifting fireflies. Its roots draw from the memories and dreams carried by the fireflies, and its branches hold the essence of peace and renewal." The traveler approached the tree, their footsteps silent on the soft ground. As they drew nearer, they noticed that the orbs on the branches were not just glowing, they were singing. Each one emitted a soft, melodic tone, blending together to create a symphony of serenity. "It's beautiful," the traveler murmured, their eyes filling with tears. Nix glided beside them, their form rippling with approval. "The dream tree is a place of release, traveler. Here, you can let go of the burdens you carry and allow the haven to heal your heart." The traveler hesitated, their hands trembling. "How do I do that?" Nix gestured toward the tree. "Reach out to it. Touch one of the orbs. The dream tree will guide you." The traveler took a deep breath, their heart pounding in their chest. They reached out a hand, their fingers brushing against one of the glowing orbs. Instantly, the world around them seemed to dissolve. The valley, the fireflies, even Nix, all of it faded away, replaced by a swirling mist of light and sound. The traveler found themselves standing in a familiar place, a small room with walls painted a soft blue, a bed with a patchwork quilt, and a window that led in the golden light of a setting sun. This is my childhood bedroom," the traveler whispered, their voice trembling. As they looked around, they noticed a figure sitting on the bed, a younger version of themselves, no more than a child. The child was holding a book, their eyes wide with wonder as they turned the pages. The traveler felt a pang of nostalgia, their heart aching with the memory of simpler times. They stepped closer, their footsteps silent on the wooden floor. "I remember this," they said softly. "I used to read here for hours, lost in stories of adventure and magic." The child looked up, their eyes meeting the traveler's. For a moment, it felt as though they were looking into a mirror, their past and present colliding. "You've been carrying this with you," the child said, their voice clear and bright. "But you don't have to anymore. You can let it go." The traveler felt tears stream down their cheeks. "But what if I forget? What if I lose this part of myself?" The child smiled, their expression filled with a wisdom beyond their years. "You won't forget. The memories will always be a part of you. But you don't have to carry them like a weight. You can set them down and let them be." The traveler nodded, their hearts swelling with emotion. They reached out a hand, and the child took it, their touch warm and reassuring. As they stood there, the room began to dissolve, the walls and floor melting away into light. The traveler felt a sense of release, as though a heavy chain had been lifted from their chest. When they opened their eyes, they were back in the valley, standing before the dream tree. The orb they had touched was still glowing, but its light was softer now, more gentle. Nix was beside them, their form shimmering with approval. "You did well, traveler. The dream tree has helped you release a burden you have carried for too long." The traveler wiped their tears, their heart feeling lighter than it had in years. "Thank you," they said, their voice filled with gratitude. Nix inclined their head. "The journey is not over, traveler. There is still much to see and learn in the Starry Haven. But for now, take a moment to rest. The fireflies will watch over you." The traveler nodded, sinking to the ground beneath the dream tree. The fireflies swirled around them, their lights creating a canopy of warmth and comfort. As they closed their eyes, The lullaby of the haven filled their ears, a soothing melody that carried them into a deep, peaceful sleep. The traveler awoke to the soft hum of the Starry Haven's lullaby, their body feeling lighter than it had in years. The dream tree stood tall above them, its branches swaying gently in a breeze that carried the scent of blooming flowers. The fireflies still danced around them, their lights weaving patterns in the air like constellations come to life. Nyx was nearby, their form shimmering with quiet patience. "You rested well, traveler," they said, their voice a soothing blend of whispers and chimes. "The haven's magic has begun to work within you." The travelers sat up, stretching their arms and feeling a sense of renewal. "I feel different," they said, their voice tinged with wonder. "Lighter, somehow." Nyx nodded, their glowing eyes soft with approval. "The dream tree has helped you release a burden. But there is more to discover, more to let go of. Are you ready to continue?" The travelers stood, brushing off their silken cloak. "Yes," they said firmly. "I'm ready." Nyx gestured toward the edge of the valley, where the glowing flowers gave way to a shimmering river. The water was unlike anything the traveler had ever seen. It flowed with a liquid light, its surface rippling with colors that shifted like the northern lights. "What is that?" the traveler asked, their voice filled with awe. "That is the starlit river," Nyx explained. "It carries the memories and dreams of all who have entered the haven. To travel its waters is to journey through the essence of peace itself." As they approached the river, the traveler noticed a small canoe waiting at the water's edge. It was made of pearl white wood, its surface etched with delicate patterns that glowed faintly. The canoe seemed to hum softly, as if in harmony with the river's song. "Is this for us?" the traveler asked, their voice hushed. Nyx inclined their head. "It is. The canoe of starlit rivers will carry us to the next part of your journey. But be warned, the river's currents are not always gentle. They will test your heart and your resolve." The traveler hesitated, their gaze fixed on the shimmering water. "What kind of test?" Nyx's form rippled, their voice gentle but firm. "The river will show you moments from your life, both joyful and painful. It will ask you to face them, to accept them, and to let them flow away like the water beneath us. Only then can you move forward." The traveler took a deep breath, their heart pounding in their chest. "I'm ready," they said, though their voice trembled slightly. They stepped into the canoe, its surface warm beneath their feet. Nyx followed, their shadowy forms settling at the bow. As soon as they were seated, the canoe began to move, gliding smoothly onto the river's surface. The moment they entered the water, the world around them seemed to shift. The air grew cooler, filled with the scent of rain and the faint sound of distant laughter. The river's light reflected off the traveler's face, casting a soft glow that made them feel as though they were floating in a dream. For a while, they drifted in silence, the canoe moving effortlessly with the current. The traveler leaned over the side, their fingers trailing in the water. It felt like liquid silk, cool and soothing against their skin. "It's beautiful," they murmured, their voice barely above a whisper. Nyx nodded, their form shimmering with approval. "The starlit river is a place of reflection, traveler. It shows us what we need to see, even if we do not always wish to look." As if in response to Nyx's words, the river's surface began to ripple more intensely. The traveler watched as images began to form in the water, scenes from their life, flickering like reflections in a mirror. At first, the images were joyful. They saw themselves as a child, running through a field of wildflowers, their laughter ringing out like music. They saw a birthday celebration, surrounded by loved ones, their faces glowing with happiness. They saw a quiet moment by a fireplace, wrapped in a blanket, the world outside covered in snow. The travelers smiled, their hearts swelling with warmth. "These are my happiest memories," they said, their voice filled with wonder. Nix's form rippled, their voice soft. "The river shows us what we hold dear, traveler, but it also shows us what we have lost." As if on cue, the images began to shift. The joyful scenes faded, replaced by moments of pain and sorrow. The travelers saw themselves standing at a graveside, their heart heavy with grief. They saw a broken promise, a friendship lost, a dream unfulfilled. They saw themselves alone, their face etched with loneliness. The travelers' breath caught in their throat, their chest tightening with emotion. I don't want to see this," they whispered, their voice trembling. Nix's form shimmered, their voice gentle but firm. "You must, traveler. The river asks you to face these moments, to accept them as part of your story. Only then can you let them go." The traveler closed their eyes, tears streaming down their cheeks. "It hurts," they said, their voice breaking. "I know," Nix replied, their tone filled with compassion. "But pain is not eternal. It is a current, like the river itself. It flows through us, but it does not define us." The traveler took a deep breath, their hands gripping the edge of the canoe. Slowly, they opened their eyes and looked at the images again. This time, they did not turn away. They watched as the scenes played out, their heart aching with each one. But as they watched, something began to shift. The pain did not disappear, but it softened, like a wound beginning to heal. I think I understand," the traveler said, their voice steadying. "These moments are part of me. They've shaped who I am, but they don't have to weigh me down anymore." Nix's form shimmered with approval. "You are learning, traveler. The river's wisdom is becoming your own." As the traveler spoke, the images in the water began to fade, dissolving into the river's light. The current grew stronger, carrying the canoe forward with renewed energy. The traveler leaned back, their heart feeling lighter than it had in years. They looked up at the sky, where the stars pulsed gently, their light reflecting off the river's surface. "Thank you," they said, their voice filled with gratitude. "For guiding me, for helping me see." Nix inclined their head, their glowing eyes soft with warmth. "It is my purpose, traveler. But the journey is not over. There is still much to discover in the Starry Haven." The traveler nodded, their gaze fixed on the horizon. The river stretched out before them, its light shimmering with the promise of new beginnings. As they drifted onward, the canoe began to hum softly, its melody blending with the lullaby of the haven. The traveler closed their eyes, letting the music wash over them, their heart filled with peace. The starlit river carried the traveler and Nix gently onward, its current smooth and unhurried. The canoe glided effortlessly, its pearl-white hull reflecting the shimmering light of the water. The travelers sat quietly, their hands resting on the edge of the canoe, their minds still processing the journey through their memories. The river had been both kind and unflinching, showing them the full spectrum of their life: joy and sorrow, love and loss. Now, as the river widened, the traveler noticed a change in the air. It grew cooler, carrying with it the faint scent of old parchment and the soft, comforting aroma of lavender. "Nix," the traveler said, breaking the silence, "where are we going now?" Nix's form shimmered, their glowing eyes turning toward the horizon. "The river leads us to the library of lost lullabies, traveler. It is a place of quiet wisdom, where the stories of countless souls are kept." The traveler tilted their head, curiosity sparking in their eyes. "Lost lullabies? What does that mean? Lullabies are more than songs, Nix explained. Their voice a soothing blend of whispers and chimes. They are the stories we tell ourselves to find peace, the words we whisper to soothe our hearts. Some are remembered, passed down through generations. Others are forgotten, lost to time. The library collects them all. As Nick spoke, the river began to narrow, its banks rising into steep, moss-covered walls. The light from the water reflected off the stone, casting a soft, greenish glow. Ahead, the traveler could see a massive structure emerging from the mist, a towering tree. Its trunk wide and ancient, its branches stretching high into the sky. But this was no ordinary tree. Its bark was etched with intricate patterns, and its hollowed-out trunk glowed with a warm, amber light. "Is that the library?" the traveler asked, their voice filled with. Nix nodded. "It is." The dream tree's roots reach deep into the earth, drawing from the memories and dreams of all who have entered the haven. Its branches hold the essence of peace and renewal, and its trunk houses the library of lost lullabies. The canoe drifted to a stop at the base of the tree, where a small dock made of glowing wood awaited. The travelers stepped out, their feet sinking into the soft moss that covered the ground. Nix followed, their shadowy form gliding effortlessly beside them. As they approached the tree, the traveler noticed that its trunk was not solid. It was hollow, with a wide opening that led into a vast circular room. The walls were lined with shelves that stretched from floor to ceiling, each one filled with books of every size and color. The air inside was warm and fragrant, filled with the scent of old paper and the faint hum of the lullaby that seemed to permeate the haven. The travelers stepped inside, their eyes wide with wonder. "It's incredible," they whispered, their voice echoing softly in the space. Nix glided beside them, their forms shimmering with approval. "The library is a place of quiet reflection, traveler. Each book holds a story, a memory, a lullaby. Some are joyful, others sorrowful, but all are precious." The traveler reached out, their fingers brushing against the spine of a nearby book. It was bound in soft blue leather, its surface etched with delicate silver patterns. As they touched it, the book began to hum softly, as if responding to their presence. "Can I open it?" the traveler asked, their voice hesitant. Nix nodded. "The library will show you what you need to see. Trust it, as you have trusted the river." The traveler carefully pulled the book from the shelf, its weight comforting in their hands. They opened it, and as they did, the room seemed to dissolve around them. They found themselves standing in a small, cozy room lit by the warm glow of a fireplace. A woman sat in a rocking chair, her face soft with love as she cradled a baby in her arms. The traveler recognized her instantly. It was their mother, younger than they had ever known her. The woman began to sing, her voice gentle and melodic. It was a lullaby the traveler had not heard in years, but the melody was instantly familiar. As they listened, they felt a wave of emotion wash over them, their hearts swelling with love and longing. "I remember this," the traveler whispered, their voice trembling. "She used to sing this to me when I was little." The scene faded, and the traveler found themselves back in the library, the books still open in their hands. The pages were filled with words and images, each one telling the story of the lullaby and the love it carried. This is my lullaby," the traveler said, their voice filled with wonder. Nix's form shimmered, their voice soft. "The library holds the lullabies of countless souls, traveler. Some are remembered like yours. Others are lost, waiting to be found." The traveler closed the book, their hands trembling slightly. "What happens to the lost ones? Do they stay here forever?" Nix's glowing eyes softened. The lost lullabies are not forgotten, traveler. They are kept safe, waiting for the moment when they are needed. Sometimes a soul will come here and find a lullaby they did not know they were missing. In that moment, the lullaby is found again. The traveler nodded, their heart feeling lighter. They placed the book back on the shelf, their fingers lingering on its spine. Nix, they said after a moment, can I find more? More lullabies, more stories. Nix inclined their head. The library will show you what you need to see. But be cautious, some stories are not meant to be opened. The traveler frowned. What do you mean? Nix gestured toward a nearby shelf, where a single book stood apart from the others. It was bound in black leather, its surface etched with dark, swirling patterns. The traveler felt a chill as they looked at it, their heart pounding in their chest. What is that? They asked, their voice barely above a whisper. That is a story that needs to sleep, Nix replied, their tone solemn. Some memories are too painful, too heavy to carry. The library keeps them safe, so they do not harm the souls who come here. The traveler hesitated, their gaze fixed on the black book. What happens if someone opens it? Nix's form rippled, their voice gentle but firm. The story would awaken, and its weight would fall upon the one who opened it. It is a burden no soul should bear. The traveler nodded, their heart heavy with understanding. I won't open it, they said, their voice steady. Nix's form shimmered with approval. You are learning, traveler. The library's wisdom is becoming your own. The traveler took a deep breath, their gaze sweeping over the shelves. Can I stay here for a while? Just to be in this place. Nix inclined their head. As long as you need, traveler. The library is a place of peace. Rest here and let its quiet wisdom fill your heart. The travelers sank to the floor, their back resting against the base of a shelf. The air was warm and fragrant, the hum of the lullaby soft and soothing. They closed their eyes, letting the stillness of a library wrap around them like a blanket. As they sat there, the traveler felt a sense of peace settle over them, deeper and more profound than anything they had ever known. The library was a sanctuary, a place where the stories of countless souls were kept safe, waiting to be remembered or discovered. And in that moment, the traveler knew they were exactly where they needed to be. The travelers sat in the library of lost lullabies for what felt like hours, though time seemed to flow differently into Starry Haven. The quiet hum of the lullaby and the comforting scent of old parchment wrapped around them like a cocoon, filling their heart with a sense of peace they hadn't known in years. Eventually, they rose, their body feeling lighter, their mind clearer. Nix was waiting nearby, their shadowy form shimmering softly in the amber light of the library. Are you ready to continue, traveler? They asked, their voice a soothing blend of whispers and chimes. The traveler nodded, their gaze lingering on the shelves of books. Yes, but I feel like I could stay here forever. It's so peaceful. Nix's glowing eyes softened. The library is a place of rest, but your journey is not yet complete. There is more to see, more to discover. Come. The traveler followed Nix out of the library, stepping back into the cool, fragrant air of the Starry Haven. The dream tree loomed above them, its branches swaying gently in a breeze that carried the faint scent of night-blooming flowers. As they walked, the traveler noticed a pathway of glowing petals leading away from the tree. The petals were soft underfoot, their light casting a gentle glow that illuminated the way. Where does this path lead? The traveler asked, their voice hushed. To the garden of moonlit mirrors, Nix replied. A place where the past and present meet, and where the heart finds clarity. The traveler felt a flicker of curiosity. mixed with a faint unease. Mirrors. What will they show me? Nix's form rippled, their voice gentle. The mirrors reflect what lies within you, traveler. They show the truths you may have forgotten or ignored. But do not fear. The garden is a place of healing, not judgment. The traveler nodded, though their hearts still fluttered with uncertainty. They followed the path, the petals glowing brighter with each step. Soon, they reached a tall arched gate made of silver vines, their surface etched with delicate patterns that shimmered in the moonlight. Beyond the gate lay the garden of moonlit mirrors. The garden was vast, filled with flowers that glowed in shades of silver and blue. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine and lavender, and the ground was covered in soft, mossy grass that seemed to cushion every step. But what caught the traveler's attention most were the mirrors. They were everywhere, tall, ornate mirrors framed in silver and gold, their surfaces reflecting the moonlight in a way that made them seem alive. Some stood alone, while others were grouped together, their reflections overlapping in a mesmerizing dance of light and shadow. The travelers stepped into the garden, their breath catching in their throat. "It's beautiful," they whispered. Nyx glided beside them, their forms shimmering with approval. "The mirrors will show you what you need to see, traveler. Approach them with an open heart, and they will guide you." The traveler hesitated, their gaze fixed on the nearest mirror. Its surface rippled like water, reflecting not their current form, but a younger version of themselves, a child, no more than 6 or 7 years old, standing in a sunlit field. The travelers stepped closer, their heart pounding in their chest. "That's me," they said, their voice trembling. Nyx nodded. "The mirrors show moments from your life, traveler. They help you remember who you were and who you still are." The traveler reached out a hand, their fingers brushing against the mirror's surface. As they did, the image shifted, showing the child laughing as they ran through the field, their arms outstretched as if trying to catch the wind. "I remember this," the traveler said, their voice filled with wonder. "I used to play here, in the field behind our house. I felt so free, so alive." Nyx's form shimmered, their voice soft. "The mirrors remind us of the joy we once knew, traveler. They help us reconnect with the parts of ourselves we may have forgotten." The traveler nodded, their eyes filling with tears. They stepped back, their gaze sweeping over the garden. "Are there more?" Nyx inclined their head. "Each mirror holds a different memory, a different truth. Explore them, traveler. Let the garden show you what you need to see." The traveler moved deeper into the garden, their footsteps silent on the soft grass. They approached another mirror, its surface rippling to reveal a different scene, a teenage version of themselves, sitting alone in a dimly lit room, their face etched with sadness. The traveler's breath caught in their throat. This was after my grandmother passed away," they said, their voice barely above a whisper. "I felt so lost, so alone." Nyx's form rippled, their voice gentle. "The mirrors do not shy away from pain, traveler. They show us the moments that shaped us, both joyful and sorrowful." The traveler nodded, their heart heavy with emotion. They stepped back, their gaze fixed on the mirror. "I don't want to forget her," they said, their voice trembling. "But I don't want to carry this pain forever." Nyx's glowing eyes softened. "You do not have to forget, traveler. The mirrors ask only that you accept these moments as part of your story. In doing so, you release their hold on you." The traveler took a deep breath, their hands trembling. I accept it," they said, their voice steadying. "This pain is part of me, but it does not define me." As they spoke, The image in the mirror shifted, the sadness in their younger self's face softening into a quiet acceptance. The traveler felt a weight lift from their chest, their heart feeling lighter than it had in years. They continued through the garden, each mirror showing a different moment from their life. Some were joyful, a first kiss, a graduation, a quiet moment with a loved one. Others were painful, a betrayal, a failure, a loss. But with each reflection, the traveler felt a sense of clarity, a deeper understanding of who they were and how far they had come. Finally, they reached the center of the garden, where a large, circular mirror stood alone. Its surface was still, reflecting not a memory, but their current self. The travelers stepped closer, their gaze fixed on their reflection. They looked different, calmer, softer, as though the weight they had carried for so long had been lifted. "Is this me?" they asked, their voice filled with wonder. Nyx's form shimmered, their voice gentle. "It is, traveler. The mirrors show us not only who we were, but who we are becoming. You have faced your past, and in doing so, you have found peace." The traveler nodded, their hearts swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Nyx, for guiding me, for helping me see." Nyx inclined their head. "It is my purpose, traveler. But the journey is not over. There is still more to discover in the Starry Haven." The traveler took a deep breath, their gaze sweeping over the garden. The mirrors glowed softly in the moonlight, their reflections overlapping in a dance of light and shadow. "I'm ready," they said, their voice steady. "Let's keep going." Nyx's form shimmered with approval. "Then come, traveler. The path awaits." The traveler followed Nyx out of the garden, their heart filled with a sense of peace and clarity. The garden of moonlit mirrors had shown them the truths they needed to see, and in doing so, it had helped them find a deeper understanding of themselves. As they walked, the traveler felt a renewed sense of purpose, their steps lighter, their heart open to the wonders that lay ahead. The traveler and Nyx left the garden of moonlit mirrors behind, the glowing petals of the pathway guiding them onward. The air grew cooler as they walked, carrying with it the faint scent of rain and the distant sound of rushing wind. The traveler felt a sense of anticipation, their heart beating steadily in their chest. They had faced their past in the mirrors, and now they felt ready for whatever lay ahead. As they rounded a bend in the path, the travelers stopped in their tracks, their breath catching in their throat. Before them stretched a narrow bridge, its surface made of shimmering, translucent stone that seemed to glow from within. The bridge spanned a deep chasm, its bottom lost in swirling mist. But what made the traveler pause was the wind. It roared through the chasm like a living thing, its gusts strong enough to make the bridge tremble. "Nyx," the traveler said, their voice barely above a whisper. "What is this place?" Nyx's form shimmered, their glowing eyes fixed on the bridge. "This is the bridge of breathless winds, traveler. It is a test of focus and resilience. To cross it, you must match your breath to the rhythm of the wind." The traveler frowned, their gaze fixed on the chasm below. "What happens if I don't?" Nyx's voice was gentle but firm. "The winds will grow stronger, and the bridge will become unstable. But if you remain calm and centered, the winds will guide you safely across." The traveler took a deep breath, their hands trembling slightly. "I'm not sure I can do this." Nyx glided closer, their form rippling with reassurance. "You are stronger than you know, traveler. Trust yourself and trust the haven. The winds are not your enemy. They are your teacher." The traveler nodded, their heart pounding in their chest. They stepped onto the bridge, their feet sinking slightly into the glowing stone. The wind immediately picked up, its gusts swirling around them like invisible hands. At first, the traveler tried to fight it, their body tense as they struggled to maintain their balance. But the harder they fought, the stronger the wind became, its roar filling their ears and making the bridge tremble beneath their feet. "Nix," the traveler called, their voice tinged with panic. "I can't do this." Nix's voice was calm and steady. "Breathe, traveler. Match your breath to the wind. Let it guide you." The traveler closed their eyes, forcing themselves to take a deep, steady breath. They focused on the sound of the wind, its rhythm rising and falling like a song. Slowly, they began to match their breathing to its tempo, inhaling as the wind rose, exhaling as it fell. As they did, something remarkable happened. The wind seemed to soften, its gusts becoming less violent, more controlled. The bridge steady beneath their feet, its glow brightening as if in approval. "It's working," the traveler whispered, their voice filled with wonder. Nix's form shimmered, their voice soft. "The winds respond to your energy, traveler. When you are calm, they are calm. When you are in harmony, they guide you." The traveler nodded, their hearts steadying. They continued across the bridge, their breathing in sync with the wind. As they walked, the gusts began to carry whispers, faint, fragmented words that seemed to come from all directions. "You're not good enough. You'll never succeed. You're alone." The traveler froze, their breath catching in their throat. The whispers grew louder, their voices familiar, old fears, old doubts, things they had thought long buried. "Nix," the traveler said, their voice trembling. "What is this?" Nix's form rippled, their voice gentle but firm. "The winds carry the whispers of your fears, traveler. They test your resolve, your ability to stay centered in the face of doubt." The traveler closed their eyes, their hands clenched into fists. "I don't want to hear this," they said, their voice breaking. "You do not have to listen," Nix replied. "Focus on your breath. Let the whispers flow past you, like the wind itself." The traveler took a deep breath, their chest rising and falling in time with the wind's rhythm. They focused on the sound of their breathing, letting it drown out the whispers. Slowly, the voices began to fade, their words dissolving into the wind. As they reached the midpoint of the bridge, the wind shifted. Its gusts grew warmer, softer, carrying with them a new set of whispers, gentler, kinder words that seemed to wrap around the traveler like a blanket. "You are enough. You are loved. You are not alone." The traveler's eyes filled with tears, their hearts swelling with emotion. "Nix," they said, their voice trembling. "Do you hear that?" Nix's form shimmered, their voice soft. "The winds carry not only your fears, traveler, but also your truths. When you face your doubts, you make space for your strength." The traveler nodded, their hearts steadying. They continued across the bridge, their breathing in sync with the wind, their steps sure and confident. The whispers of fear had faded, replaced by the gentle reassurances of their own inner voice. As they reached the far side of the bridge, the wind grew still, its roar replaced by a soft, soothing hum. The travelers stepped onto solid ground, their body trembling with relief. "I did it," they said, their voice filled with wonder. Nix's form shimmered with approval. "You did, traveler. The bridge of breathless winds has tested you, and you have passed. You have faced your fears and found your strength." The traveler nodded, their hearts swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Nix, for guiding me, for helping me see." Nix inclined their head. "It is my purpose, traveler. But the journey is not over. There is still more to discover in the Starry Haven. The traveler took a deep breath, their gaze fixed on the path ahead. The wind had carried away their doubts, leaving them feeling lighter, freer. "I'm ready," they said, their voice steady. "Let's keep going." Nix's form shimmered with approval. "Then come, traveler. The path awaits." The traveler followed Nix, their heart filled with a sense of peace and clarity. The bridge of breathless winds had tested them, but it had also shown them their strength. As they walked, the traveler felt a renewed sense of purpose, their steps lighter, their heart open to the wonders that lay ahead. The traveler and Nix left the bridge of breathless winds behind, the path ahead glowing softly with the light of the Starry Haven. The air grew warmer as they walked, carrying with it the faint scent of wood smoke and the comforting aroma of herbs. The traveler felt a sense of calm, their hearts steady and their mind clear. The bridge had tested them, but it had also shown them their strength, and now they felt ready for whatever lay ahead. As they rounded a bend in the path, the traveler noticed a soft amber glow in the distance. It came from the mouth of a cave, its entrance framed by twisting vines and glowing flowers. The light flickered gently, like the flame of a candle, and the air around it seemed to hum with a quiet, soothing energy. "Nix," the traveler said, their voice hushed. "What is that?" Nix's form shimmered, their glowing eyes fixed on the cave. "That is the hearth of eternal embers, traveler. It is a place of warmth and rest, where the weary can find solace and the lost can find their way." The traveler felt a flicker of curiosity, mixed with a faint sense of relief. "It feels inviting," they said, their voice tinged with wonder. Nix inclined their head. "The hearth is a sanctuary, traveler. Its fire never dies, and its warmth never fades. Come, let us enter." The traveler followed Nix into the cave, their footsteps silent on the soft, mossy ground. The air inside was warm and fragrant, filled with the scent of burning wood and the faint, sweet aroma of herbs. The walls of the cave glowed softly, their surface etched with intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with the light of the fire. At the center of the cave was the hearth itself, a large, circular fire pit filled with glowing embers that pulsed with a gentle, golden light. The fire seemed alive, its flames dancing in time to a melody only it could hear. Beside the hearth sat a figure, hunched and cloaked, their face hidden in shadow. The traveler hesitated, their heart pounding in their chest. Who is that?" Nix's form shimmered, their voice soft. "That is the keeper of the hearth, traveler. They tend the fire and offer comfort to those who seek it." As they approached, the figure looked up, revealing a face that was both ancient and kind. Their eyes glowed softly, like the embers of the fire, and their voice, when they spoke, was warm and gravelly, like the crackle of burning wood. "Welcome, traveler," the keeper said, their tone gentle. "Come, sit by the fire. Rest a while." The travelers sank to the ground beside the hearth, their body feeling heavy with exhaustion. The warmth of the fire wrapped around them like a blanket, easing the tension in their muscles and slowing their heartbeat. "Thank you," they said, their voice filled with gratitude. The keeper nodded, their eyes soft with understanding. "The hearth is a place of rest, traveler. Its fire burns with the essence of peace, and its warmth soothes the soul. Tell me, what brings you here?" The traveler hesitated, their gaze fixed on the glowing embers. I've been on a journey," they said, their voice trembling slightly. "Through the Starry Haven. I've faced my past, my fears, my doubts. But I'm tired. I feel like I've been carrying so much for so long." The keeper's eyes softened, their voice gentle. "Then you have come to the right place, traveler. The hearth is a sanctuary for the weary. Here, You can set down your burdens and allow the fire to renew your spirit." The traveler nodded, their hearts swelling with emotion. They closed their eyes, letting the warmth of the fire wash over them. As they sat there, they felt a sense of peace settle over them, deeper and more profound than anything they had ever known. After a moment, the keeper reached into the fire and pulled out a small, glowing ember. They held it out to the traveler, their eyes soft with compassion. "Take this," they said, their voice gentle. "It is a piece of the heart's fire. It will warm your heart and light your way." The traveler hesitated, their hands trembling slightly. What do I do with it?" The keeper smiled, their face crinkling with warmth. "Hold it close, traveler. Let its warmth fill you. And when you are ready, release it into the world. The fire of the hearth is eternal. It never dies, only transforms." The traveler took the ember, its warmth spreading through their hands and into their chest. They felt a sense of calm settle over them, their hearts steadying, their mind clearing. "Thank you," they said, their voice filled with gratitude. The keeper nodded, their eyes soft with understanding. "Rest now, traveler. The hearth will watch over you." The traveler closed their eyes, their body sinking into the soft moss. The warmth of the fire wrapped around them like a blanket, easing the tension in their muscles and slowing their heartbeat. As they drifted into sleep, they felt a sense of peace settle over them, deeper and more profound than anything they had ever known. The traveler awoke to the soft crackle of the hearth's fire, its warmth still wrapped around them like a comforting embrace. The keeper of the hearth sat nearby, their forms silhouetted against the glowing embers, their presence steady and reassuring. Nick stood at the edge of the cave, their shadowy form shimmering softly in the amber light. "You rested well, traveler," Nick said, their voice a soothing blend of whispers and chimes. "The hearth's fire has renewed your spirit. Are you ready to continue?" The travelers sat up, their body feeling lighter, their mind clearer. They looked down at their hands, where the glowing ember the keeper had given them still pulsed gently, its warmth spreading through their chest. "Yes," they said, their voice steady. "I'm ready." The keeper nodded, their eyes soft with approval. "The hearth's fire will guide you, traveler. Carry it with you and let its light illuminate your path." The travelers stood, their hearts swelling with gratitude. "Thank you," they said, their voice filled with emotion. "For your kindness, for your warmth." The keeper inclined their head, their face crinkling with a gentle smile. "It is my purpose, traveler. Go now, and may the fire of the hearth light your way." The traveler followed Nyx out of the cave, the glowing ember cradled in their hands. The path ahead was bathed in a soft, silver light, the air cool and fragrant with the scent of night-blooming flowers. As they walked, the traveler noticed a change in the landscape. The ground grew steeper, the trees taller, their branches reaching high into the sky like the fingers of giants. "Nyx," the traveler said, their voice hushed. "Where are we going?" Nyx's form shimmered, their glowing eyes fixed on the horizon. "To the observatory of slumbering giant, traveler. It is a place of quiet wonder, where the stars are cradled in the hands of those who dream." The traveler tilted their head, curiosity sparking in their eyes. "Slumbering giants? What do you mean?" "You will see," Nyx replied, their voice soft. "The observatory is a place of mystery and magic. It holds the essence of the heavens and the dreams of those who guard them." As they walked, the path grew steeper, the air cooler. The trees gave way to towering cliffs, their surfaces etched with glowing patterns that pulsed gently in the moonlight. The traveler felt a sense of awe, their heart pounding in their chest. Finally, they reached the top of the cliff, where a massive structure stood silhouetted against the night sky. It was an observatory, its dome open to the stars, its surface etched with intricate patterns that glowed softly in the darkness. But what caught the traveler's attention most were the figures surrounding it. Towering stone giants, their forms hunched and still, their faces peaceful in slumber. "Nix," the traveler whispered, their voice filled with awe. "Are they alive?" Nix's form shimmered, their voice soft. "They are the slumbering giants, traveler. They guard the stars and cradle the dreams of the heavens. In their hands, they hold the essence of peace and renewal." The travelers stepped closer, their footsteps silent on the soft, mossy ground. The giants were massive, their forms carved from stone that seemed to pulse with a gentle, golden light. Each one held a glowing orb in their hands, its surface etched with delicate patterns that shimmered like constellations. "What are those?" the traveler asked, their voice hushed. "They are the stars, traveler," Nix replied. "Each orb holds a piece of the heavens, a dream waiting to be born." The traveler felt a lump rise in their throat, their hearts swelling with emotion. "It's beautiful," they whispered. Nix inclined their head. "The observatory is a place of quiet wonder, traveler. It reminds us of the vastness of the universe and the peace that lies within it." The travelers stepped into the observatory, their gaze fixed on the giants. The air inside was cool and fragrant, filled with the scent of night-blooming flowers and the faint hum of the lullaby that seemed to permeate the haven. As they approached one of the giants, the traveler noticed that its orb was glowing brighter than the others. Its surface pulsed gently, as if in time to a melody only it could hear. "Nix," the traveler said, their voice trembling. "Can I touch it?" Nix's form shimmered, their voice soft. "The stars are not to be taken lightly, traveler. But if you approach with an open heart, they may show you what you need to see." The traveler hesitated, their hands trembling slightly. They reached out, their fingers brushing against the orb's surface. Instantly, the world around them seemed to dissolve. The observatory, the giants, even Nix, all of it faded away, replaced by a swirling mist of light and sound. The traveler found themselves standing in a vast, star-filled sky, their feet resting on a surface that felt like liquid light. Above them, the stars pulsed gently, their light casting a soft glow over everything. Where am I?" the traveler whispered, their voice filled with wonder. A voice echoed through the void, soft and melodic. "You are in the heart of the heavens, traveler. This is the essence of the stars, the dreams they carry." The traveler looked around, their heart pounding in their chest. "What am I supposed to do here?" The voice replied, its tone gentle. "Look within yourself, traveler. The stars will show you what you need to see." The traveler closed their eyes, their hands trembling slightly. They took a deep breath, their chest rising and falling in time with the pulse of the stars. As they did, images began to form in their mind, scenes from their life, flickering like reflections in a mirror. They saw themselves as a child, running through a field of wildflowers, their laughter ringing out like music. They saw a quiet moment by a fireplace, wrapped in a blanket, the world outside covered in snow. They saw a loved one's face, their eyes filled with love and warmth. The traveler's eyes filled with tears, their hearts swelling with emotion. "These are my happiest memories," they whispered, their voice trembling. The voice echoed softly. "The stars hold the essence of joy, traveler. They remind us of the light within us, even in the darkest of times." The traveler nodded, their hearts steadying. They opened their eyes, their gaze fixed on the stars. "Thank you," they said, their voice filled with gratitude. The voice replied, its tone gentle. Remember, traveler, the stars are always with you. Their light guides you, even when you cannot see it. The traveler felt a sense of peace settle over them, deeper and more profound than anything they had ever known. They closed their eyes, letting the light of the stars wash over them. When they opened their eyes, they were back in the observatory, the giant's orbs still glowing softly in their hands. Nyx was beside them, their form shimmering with approval. You have seen the essence of the stars, traveler. Their light will guide you, even in the darkest of times. The traveler nodded, their hearts swelling with gratitude. Thank you, Nyx, for guiding me, for helping me see. Nyx inclined their head. It is my purpose, traveler. But the journey is not over. There is still more to discover in the Starry Haven. The traveler took a deep breath, their gaze fixed on the horizon. The stars pulsed gently above them, their light casting a soft glow over everything. I'm ready, they said, their voice steady. Let's keep going. Nyx's form shimmered with approval. Then come, traveler. The path awaits. The traveler followed Nyx, their heart filled with a sense of peace and clarity. The observatory of slumbering giants had shown them the light within themselves, and in doing so, it had helped them find a deeper understanding of their place in the universe. As they walked, the traveler felt a renewed sense of purpose, their steps lighter, their heart open to the wonders that lay ahead. The traveler and Nyx left the observatory of slumbering giants behind, the stars above pulsing gently as if bidding them farewell. The path ahead was bathed in a soft, golden light, the air warm and fragrant with the scent of blooming flowers. The traveler felt a sense of calm, their hearts steady and their mind clear. The journey through the Starry Haven had shown them so much, their past, their fears, their joys, and their strength. Now, as they walked, they felt a deep sense of anticipation, knowing that the final chapter of their journey awaited. As they rounded a bend in the path, the traveler noticed a change in the air. It grew cooler, filled with the faint scent of morning dew and the soft sound of distant birdsong. Ahead, the path led to a massive dome-shaped structure, its surface etched with intricate patterns that glowed softly in the light. Nyx, the traveler said, their voice hushed. What is that? Nyx's form shimmered, their glowing eyes fixed on the dome. That is the Chamber of Silent Dawn, traveler. It is the heart of the Starry Haven, a place where the essence of peace and renewal is woven into the fabric of the world. The traveler felt a flicker of curiosity, mixed with a faint sense of, what will I find there? Nyx's voice was soft, filled with a quiet reverence. The chamber is a place of rest, traveler. It is where the haven's magic is woven into the dreams of those who sleep. Enter, and you will see. The traveler nodded, their heart pounding in their chest. They followed Nyx to the entrance of the chamber, a tall arched doorway made of silver vines that glowed softly in the light. As they stepped inside, the air grew cooler, filled with the scent of fresh linen and the faint hum of the lullaby that seemed to permeate the haven. The chamber was vast, its walls lined with hundreds of plush cushions in every color imaginable. The ceiling was open to the sky, the stars above pulsing gently as if in time to the lullaby. At the center of the chamber stood a large, circular pool filled with liquid light, its surface rippling gently as if in response to the traveler's presence. Nyx, the traveler whispered, their voice filled with wonder. What is this place? Nyx's form shimmered, their voice soft. The Chamber of Silent Dawn is where the haven's magic is woven into the dreams of those who sleep, traveler. It is a place of rest, of renewal, of peace. The travelers stepped closer to the pool, their gaze fixed on its shimmering surface. As they did, They noticed that the light seemed to pulse in time with their heartbeat, its rhythm steady and soothing. "What do I do here?" the traveler asked, their voice trembling slightly. Nyx's form rippled, their voice gentle. "Lie down, traveler. Let the chamber's magic wrap around you. It will guide you to a place of deep rest, where your dreams will be filled with peace and renewal." The traveler hesitated, their heart pounding in their chest. They looked at Nyx, their eyes filled with emotion. "Will you stay with me?" Nyx's glowing eyes softened. "For as long as you need me, traveler. But know that the chamber's magic is strong. It will watch over you, even when I cannot." The traveler nodded, their hearts steadying. They sank onto one of the cushions, their body feeling heavy with exhaustion. The air around them was cool and fragrant, filled with the scent of fresh linen and the faint hum of the lullaby. As they lay down, the light from the pool began to swirl around them, its warmth wrapping around them like a blanket. The traveler closed their eyes, their breath slowing as the lullaby filled their ears. "Nyx," they whispered, their voice barely above a whisper, "thank you for guiding me, for helping me see." Nyx's form shimmered, their voice soft. "It is my purpose, traveler. But the journey is not over. The chamber will guide you now, and its magic will stay with you, even when you wake." The traveler nodded, their hearts swelling with gratitude. They closed their eyes, letting the light of the chamber wash over them. As they drifted into sleep, they felt a sense of peace settle over them, deeper and more profound than anything they had ever known. The traveler awoke in their bed, the first light of dawn filtering through the curtains. They sat up, their body feeling lighter, their mind clearer. For a moment, they wondered if it had all been a dream. The Starry Haven, the dream tree, the observatory, the chamber. But then they noticed something on their pillow, a single starflower, its petals glowing softly in the morning light. The traveler smiled, their hearts swelling with gratitude. They knew then that the journey had been real, that the haven's magic had touched them in ways they could not yet fully understand. As they rose and began their day, they felt a renewed sense of purpose, their steps lighter, their heart open to the wonders of the world. The Starry Haven had shown them the light within themselves, and in doing so, it had helped them find a deeper understanding of their place in the universe. And as they walked, the traveler knew that the lullaby of the haven would always be with them, a gentle reminder of the peace and renewal they had found.